I've got just a few kind of concerns about the future, Grace, and I'm hoping you can help me
Ooh.
wrap my hands around. Yeah, I recognize that it's hard to feel hopeful right now for a
Right.
number of reasons. What, if anything, do you see as the steps to, some of these issues changing on a larger level, seeing more talented and qualified and passionate affirming therapists for these communities?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a huge thing that we need to tackle. And I think, practical steps are supporting people that you want to encourage. And the same thing that we've seen, with the Black Lives Matter movement, we've been posting these small shops, these small trans and women owned shops that are Black owned. And it's just getting them the money and the, respect and the spotlight that they finally deserve. And I feel like we need to do the same thing with therapists as well as encouraging people that we want to see more of and that we owe things to basically for being so hidden and discouraged for so long. We owe them this attention finally. Um, there's so many great things out there, like from nonprofits. Nonprofits are doing amazing things. I love the Trevor Project, and every LGBT center is just phenomenal. Like, having worked at some, they work so hard and they have things from, health resources to counseling to financial help to housing and homelessness workshops, everything. And it's all centered around our community, which is amazing. But unfortunately for me, like, I get into this duller mindset when I start thinking about the fact that nonprofits can't survive without, the funding. And so that's where I think politics come into, even dampering nonprofits that we have that are trying to do these amazing things. They rely on funding from the county, from the state, um, from like nationwide, or they rely on grants. And if we don't have those grants available, so it's this system where, the person who gives the money is going to be the one who gets to make a lot of the decisions, unfortunately. And that's kind of why I stepped out of the nonprofit world was, these people with the big bucks were coming in to the nonprofits I was working at, and they were like, I know how to do this. And I was like, well, I'm the one with the youth all the time. Like, I think this is how we should do it, and it becomes that battle. And that's why, I wanted Glimmer to be a business that was just not relying on money at all.
Mm.
But I think it comes down to, just supporting these small businesses and organizations that are trying to do such great things. It's hard. A lot of businesses have been struggling a lot right now. And yeah, I think we're going to see a shift, and I hope it is a positive one. And then again, that's where I think politics come into play. It's unfortunately, they're very intertwined.
Yeah, I mean, what kinds of legislation would you be looking for to see these things get better?
Yeah.
We've already talked a little bit about conversion therapy, and I think following through on that and creating a national ban, which still does not fully exist.
Hmm.
What other kinds of things would you recommend?
I mean, there's so many small things, especially with like the transgender movements that have been coming out and, supporting trans youth in schools, like the youth in athletics. There's a whole thing about discriminating against trans kids that want to be in certain athletics or sports and compete. There's the facility restrictions that are happening in all the schools where, the bathrooms and the locker rooms. There's just these small, they seem small, but they're huge things when you're talking about a kid who doesn't feel like they're in the right place, or they don't feel like they're on the right team, or they don't feel like they're supported by their teacher or their school or their counselor. And it's, I think, until we get those small things down, we're not going to change the norm, because it's just from that point on, it's ingrained in us.
Mm.
The heteronormative thing is ingrained in us, and it's ingrained in these transgender youth or these, LGBTQ youth, that they don't fit inside of the boxes that we're allowed to have. And so those are, the really big things in my mind that we just need to fix. We need to fix the everyday things first,
Hmm.
and we had that the Supreme Court with Title VII, I think it was, but for, the employment discrimination against employment, which is awesome. And that's another everyday thing where you'd think it'd just be normal. You'd think that this is just a basic human right. And when you start looking into it, it's not. And so we need to get our shit together.
Yeah, I think that's what it really comes down to. We need to
That
get our
sums it
shit
up. Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so what can people watching right now be doing to be part of that solution?
Yeah, I think, it's keeping that hope in whatever, small amounts that is, and just staying active. With the Black Lives Matter movement, we've seen already just a decline in people being interested in reposting and supporting and being so active, because people lose interest so fast, and that's how things don't get done. We have to stay focused and really push for things that we want. And that means, making small gestures like texting or calling, your legislators, and making these tiny movements like going to a protest, or, standing on the corner of your street with a sign. I did that for like 8 hours and it was horrible, but, it's just shit you got to do. Or, even donating to a small business, or there's small things that are going to push us and encourage us in the right direction. And I think we need more of that if we ever want to make some real systemic change here.
No question. Well, the website we've been talking about all night is weglimmer.com. I know that you're on Instagram and on the web. It's weglimmer. Where should people be finding you?
Yeah, so we're at weglimmer.com, like I mentioned, Squarespace. So Glimmer was already taken, so we went with WeGlimmer. But you can email us at team@weglimmer.com if you have any questions, or you want to find a specific resource, or have a question about the therapy matchmaking. Always email us. I'm just a human. I will respond, and probably with too long of a response. We're also on Facebook. We have a new Twitter, so we have like 14 followers, which is sad, but we got it like 2 days ago, so don't judge us. And we're really active on Instagram as well. So yeah, on our website, we have all the shops and resources and blogs, and, find a good movie to watch on a Friday night or tomorrow night that's LGBTQ affirming.
I love it. And if you want to get in touch with us, we are also on Twitter, also with a dismal number of followers at Secular Sex. And you can also call our hotline if you don't feel like calling in, or you don't have the time on a Thursday night. We have a voicemail box that you can call at 512-666-0ASK. That's 512-666-0275. And we will play that during our mailbag episodes, which happen every other month or so. We also have an email, sex@atheist-community.org. If you want to get in touch with me or Christy about anything, we also read those emails on the show. So yeah, you have different ways to get in touch with us as well. We did shout out the Facebook group earlier to a caller, but I do want to do it again. The Facebook group is facebook.com/group/secularsexfg. And you'll find viewers of the show there. You'll find some awesome prompts written by our mods, and just some really good conversation and support.
Yeah, as well as our Discord group, which is tiny.cc/ACA Discord, where if you are watching this live on Thursday night, you'll find the three of us briefly here in just a couple of minutes.
Woo.
Other than that, I want to make sure to thank our incredible crew who helps put all of this together. All of these incredible folks at home putting it together. It's our crew cam.
The cat. I love it.
Yeah, don't respect crew, Katie. And otherwise, I thank everybody so much for watching tonight. Grace, I want to thank you for being here. And
thank you.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to remind everybody to go out and give themselves a big ol' orgasm. Or better yet, give somebody else one.